gonna see if this is live. It says it is. It says the word. It says the word live. It is. Alright, cool. So, I'm gonna send this link out on 12th and Fabababe. And then I will get to the stream. I'm starting it a little early, because that means that when the actual time is here, I should be able to just slam into the thing. Alright, so... Copy... Oh, I forgot to edit the fucking thumbnail. Let me deal with that real quick. I want to make a different thumbnail for every vlog stream, even though it's not that important. Edit. Fucking change that. There we go. File is bigger than 2 megabytes. Okay, alright. You're testing my patience. Alright, let's try that. This is perfect. I'm troubleshooting while the stream is getting started. There we go. Okay, I have 3 concurrent viewers and 1 like for troubleshooting thumbnails. That's fun. Sorry the beginning of the stream is sucking ass so far. Let me post this on 12th and Fabababe, and then I will get to the actual thing. Changes saved. Cool. And for those of you who are new to these vlog streams, I am going to address things that were said in the vlogs over the week. Like look at comments, that sort of thing. So there's that. And I'm also going to start posting these on more networks than 12th and Fabababe. But I wanted to get going first, because I've gotten so many projects, like, started, and then just, like, stopped them for no actually good reason other than, like, lack of motivation, etc., etc. A long series of just bullshit excuses. So, I don't want to do that again. I wanted to make sure that I could do this on a daily basis and stick to the grind. I think I can do it. For some reason, people actually like this. I don't understand, but they like it. So, like, I've gotten positive feedback for some reason. Time to paste that in there and also in there. And this will be available permanently on So if you want to join library, go to jeremiahharding.com/library, LBRY. jeremiahharding.com/LBRY. Because, yeah, I think that's what it is. Yeah, it's what it is. Because I have a long-ass invite link, and I didn't like sending that to people, because A, the characters in it made some people a little bit nervous. And B, I can't fucking remember that. I mean, I could, but I particularly don't want to. So, I'm not going to. I'm going to cheat, because I have a website, and I can do shit like that. And so I'm going to be making, like, basically website links for all my invite bullshit, so that when people click one of these links, they can just be immediately taken to my noise. Feel free to comment, though. The point of this stream is that I reply to comments, right? I reply to criticisms, etc. And I also reply to the live chat. We had some banter last time, so... with that in mind, let me get to Calmanence. Alright, so, and also YouTube automatically censors comments sometimes. I don't do that. If your comment doesn't post, it's not my fault. I have all comments turned on for all of my videos. So, that's not me. If that happens, feel free to just hit me up on one of the networks where you can reliably get to me, because they exist, you know? So... let me see what we got here. This might be short. YouTube censor bots are whack, John Smith says. Yes. Yeah, that they are. I wish I could whack the YouTube censor bots, huh? So the whole notion here, first off, I'm seeing a spam comment which I can moderate live. I'm wondering if you've heard about the Delphi hack on Telegram. Not a subscriber. They're wanting to advertise their bullshit. There is no the Delphi hack on Telegram, and if there was, you would be giving me more information. I haven't heard about it. If I'm wrong and you're actually talking about something legitimate, Maya Charan, feel free to leave your comment again and elaborate a little. But I don't think I'm wrong here. I think you're one of those, because like I got a very similar comment and somebody's like, "Oh, he made me rich. He gave me 2 BTC." Anyway, removing. Not reporting though, mind you, in case I am wrong. Mr. Knights, on my last vlog stream, Storyfire currently doesn't have stream, but they're working on it. At the moment, you have to apply to post videos. I didn't actually know that. That makes it worse. The claim is to fight pornography. I doubt they'll decentralize, though. Thanks for recommending library, though. So, you spelled it with the full name. I'm not sure you know how it's spelled. So I'm going to help you find that. I'm going to heart the comment, too. Actually, I'll pin it, because it looks like that's the only comment on my vlog stream. Yeah. So I'll pin this comment, and I'll say, where's the reply button? No problem. Feel free to check my invite link here. JeremiahHarding.com/LBRY. I like that, because I can remember that. I can't remember all the fucking characters. And let me pin this. Oh, I can't pin it from the fucking bullshit? Okay, that's fine. That's fine, I guess. Okay, it doesn't want me to fucking... Alright, well, I'll pin that afterward, because that's a pinnable comment right there. Feel free to comment on this one as well, if you haven't already commented on one of these. Your comment might make it into the video. So, the next comment is on my alternative isn't an alternative. This is absolutely 100. If you guys haven't seen that, it's where I go over alternative social networks, and I go over how things like Parler weren't. And you can also find out more on an AgoristNexus article that I wrote, so feel free to go to AgoristNexus.com. We got Steve Lookner saying, I lick Windows. Good to know. OPSEC Drip says, enjoyed you beating up The Economist on my iDollar video. I think I might have gone over that last week, though. Social structure is a de facto contract I'm not sure what you meant by that. You might want to elaborate a little bit, Troll with a Purpose, unless that's specifically just trolling, which, okay. Mr. Knight says, it's not just the UNSC, but more specifically ONI, Office of Naval Intelligence, basically Space CIA. It doesn't change much, honestly. It's a bit more interesting when you consider that an Oni in Japanese folklore, is kind of a demon, an ogre, or a troll. Interesting. I will look into that because I think, doesn't Oni actually exist? It's I might be full of shit here. I'll actually, you know what? I'm gonna look that up. ONI, and if it just pops up Halo, then it's probably not real, unless Halo is a government op on its own, which would not surprise me. ONI, Office of Naval ONI Naval. Yeah, so the Office of Naval Intelligence is real. I see. I think I've like spoken about and seen that before, but I didn't want to be full of shit. You know, I know the UNSC isn't real. The United Nations Space Command isn't real, but like I was relatively sure that that's the way this was. All right. So channel. Koof Cult. Karens of a Lesser Manager. I mean, I wouldn't say lesser. I think these Karens that push the coronavirus restrictions and scream about those are actually worse managers. Like calling for worse managers. I think the fact that they're immediately going to the government every single time, and I think that the fact that they're getting their orders directly from the government makes them like de facto kind of assistant managers on their own. When the Karen becomes the manager, you know you're dealing with a very serious situation. And it's not going to go well for freedom. For those of you who don't know, I basically went on a rant on my 14th vlog, which is, it's weird that I'm up to 14 already because I'm not used to doing daily content yet. But I've been promising daily content for fucking ever, so the fact that I haven't been doing it is a fucking serious problem. But, you know, now I'm going to actually do the thing that I've been saying I'm going to do. But the vlog was about essentially the prevalence and persistence of the cult-like mentality of those who support like COVID restrictions and those who oppose any sorts of like opposition to them. And also, like, I went over passports because like in another video, because like Dave Smith went over the fact that like, well, he went over a list, and one of the things he says was no vaccine passports, and that got a bunch of people triggered because they lied and said that he said that the government should ban vaccine passports, which is fucking laughable and stupid. But I went over why. It's my downvoted video. I'm fine with that. You know, if they didn't have an argument, the person who downvoted didn't have an argument. So it's like, I don't care. I don't care. You can do this thing with your hand as much as you want. You can, you know, shove it down as much as you want until, I don't know, the thing in your hand is finally pleasured enough, or until you get the thumb nice and deep in a hole. You can do whatever you want with that. I don't care, because you didn't have an argument. So whoever downvoted my video, if you actually want to talk about it, feel free. I will go over your comment on one of these vlog streams. But yeah, I went over the fact that basically the cult created around COVID has created a whole cast of people that are empowered by the state to be who they are, to be the sorts of, like, you know, order followers that spread the Karen disease. And I also went over the fact that that the CDC is a pack of liars. I went over the fact that you can't trust what this government says, so maybe don't like trust them as a reliable source. I went over the fact that Bill Maher is fine, but he has to pause his show. Yeah. Troll with a Purpose is in my my chat. Have you considered the Libertarian Party, Steve? I am not sure what you're saying there. I started out in the Libertarian Party, but I'm definitely not going to go back. Let's do this Aussie style. Gator and a thumb down. Okay. Lince Matero says, you know those all restriction is okay Karens are already unhealthy. They're those people who won't seek help for their panic attacks and try to force you to Yes! Exactly. Okay, yeah, Steve Lochner. Have you considered the Libertarian Party? Yeah, that would make sense, John. Yeah, these people. So that's one of the primary frustrations I have is that the people who support the lockdowns the most, the people who are most willing to snitch, Gator and Thumb, South Park, Steve Irwin. I am not familiar with that. I will check at some point. Probably not now, because I don't want to get copyright struck. But a lot of the people who are so like statist and uncomfortable with like people in public with their face exposed. A lot of the people who aren't trying to subsume themselves into the cult and restrict their identity, which, you know, masks are a nice way to do that. And culturally speaking, historically speaking, they've been used to sort of make your new identity with the group. So it's not lost on me that the occult potentially like symbolism here is very strong. Either way, yeah, these people aren't healthy. They spend all their time indoors normally. They all have like Hulu and Netflix subscriptions, and they're all fucking spending all their time ordering food anyway. The sort of person who's okay enough with the restrictions that they're trying to encourage and prolong them, for the vast fucking majority, they're the kinds of people who are already lazy, unhealthy slobs to begin with. And if anything, they're trying to force this lifestyle on everyone else because they're scared that they might have to face the consequences of a bad immune system that they have given themselves for a fucking long time. The memes of destruction. Hey guys, what's going on? I am talking about the comments in my vlogs. It's a weekly thing. Hail, troll with a purpose, John Smith, Jeremiah Talks. I do this thing now. I've been doing daily vlogs for a significant period of time now, like 14 days, and I'm going to see how long I can do this. And at the end of every week, I will have an hour, probably long stream where I go over this stuff. Although I don't know, because like I have very few comments today. But if y'all can keep the chat lively, and we can get some discussions going, this stream will probably push a little bit further than that. So I got a comment, and I'm gonna address it here. Actually, let me thumbs up the ones that are good. That one, and yeah, and I'll also like give a heart here because that was a well thought out comment. Donald Alexander Court LLC. I am not sure what his LLC is for, but he says, greetings, Jeremiah. Your commentary is principled, thoughtful, and refreshing. I really appreciated this vlog, which is the first I've listened on your channel. Well, be prepared for depression, because I think you subbed, if I understand correctly. If you didn't sub, feel free to do that if you want a worse day every day. That's my sort of catchphrase. Like, I post the content that makes people's days worse. I make them upset about something that they like. So I don't know how that sits with you, but yeah, it's the way I roll. So he says, perhaps you will no longer find any disagreement with Dave Smith if you hear his most recent perspectives on ideas you touch on at the end of your vlog. April 21st with guest Ben Burgess. Dave diagnoses the corporate American embrace of equity/diversity dogma training sessions and adds as a ploy to placate the left from pursuing real threats to their state-backed power, like Occupy Wall Street and anti-Fed, anti-war leftist and libertarian movements of the aughts could have become. See, I can agree to that blurb. I haven't watched the episode. I will strongly consider that. I'm very likely gonna make a response video to the things in Dave's podcast, though. My contentions with him are with his sort of coming at things primarily from the right. And I don't like the cathedral. I like the cathedral meme is a mold bug reference, and I'm not gonna help spread neo reaction just so that I can have a catchy term. The state already exists, and originally the state was considered to be the marriage of media, capital, and government. So, I mean, the only difference here is that Moldbug thinks the left is the problem because he's a Silicon Valley nerd who thinks that, basically freeing the markets can solve all problems. Which, I mean, he's not wrong in theory, but in the way he calls for practice, I've got some serious misgivings. Which is why I think I should make videos on all of these subtopics individually and then maybe put them together or something. I don't fucking know. But I oppose neo-reaction pretty strongly. So I'm not going to help him spread that by talking about the cathedral like Dave Smith does. And I also don't like the fact that he said he sympathizes with Rothbard and tried to sort of snow what Rothbard was saying in his paleo strategy. I linked my article to somebody else, and I think it was Cold Highway, wrote this comment, and he says, I wonder if you've seen this article, and it was from McFlugel. And I directly responded to McFlugel in my own article, so I linked that article to Cold Highway. I'm in the I haven't responded section of my comments here. So now I'm going to check the ones that I have responded to. After I check the chat. Anarcho-sprucism will spread. Many amputations will occur. Yeah, that's a racist from Back Alley who's always been a little bit irritated with me for screenshotting what he says and spreading it around as proof that the Back Alley is full of racists and fascists. He recently said exactly that, but he also mentioned that he specifically is targeting homosexuals. So yeah, I mean, he's great company. You can hang with him if you want, but I will not. Memes of destruction. I remember you speaking with Mad Doge, the Mad Libertarian. God rest his soul. You had some interesting takes. I remember doing that. I don't remember what the conversation was about. I didn't know he was dead. That's interesting. Troll with a Purpose says HR struggle sessions real yo. Not sure what you mean by HR. Yeah, never liked the cathedral thing. NPC is much better. I agree, and I used to write some satire for an article, or for an outlet that had NPC in their byline. The left are like Chromebooks, and all opinions are in the cloud. I disagree with that because I don't think that the left is the cathedral. I think, the thing is that the cathedral is vague, and it doesn't really address anything. And that's the real problem. It needs to address more. And the fact is that the left isn't in control. Everything is still serving capital, in fact, more than ever. We have rightist fascism. Biden is further right than Trump was, and Black Lives Matter not only didn't get their calls returned, proverbially speaking, but they also tweeted out that, hey, we've all reported seeing more military equipment in our neighborhoods, more police action. It's getting worse for us than it was under Trump. Biden is a right-winger. He's, if anything, further right than Trump, but because he came in with a blue tie on, we're all supposed to ignore that. It's funny. It's pretty funny. Linz Matero says, that way to send a message is why authoritarians dominate the scene, creating a lot of terms with complicated story, becomes fiction after a while. Reality is complex, but not Lord of the Rings. Yeah, exactly, because they could just be direct, but they want to use this esoteric terminology that links directly back to their bullshit. And it is bullshit. It's solid bullshit. There's a lot of good stuff mixed in to tease people and get them back in, pull them back in, but ultimately there's a whole lot that's wrong. and I'm gonna make some videos on this. I don't have time to get into it all right now. But Troll with a Purpose says human resources enforcing corporate culture. Yeah, I can agree to that. Who controls the cloud? See, but it's it's still not the left. It's liberals. I advocate watching Peter Coffin's video called "Liberalism Sucks." Actually, I think it might be called. What was it? You know what? I will link that in the description because I can find it here. But his video accurately goes over the fact that a lot of people who claim to be on the left aren't actually on the left. They're just liberals. They still work for capital. They still boost the right-wing agenda. They just do it with a blue color on. What was it? I'm gonna find this. I think it might have just been called "Liberalism Sucks," and I might have been right the first time. So I'm going to. Yeah, it's called "Liberalism Sucks." I was right. Of course I was right. So I'm going to put this in the thing here. I think I can @ him actually. Peter Coffin. That. And then I'll do liberalism sucks. There we go. It's a great video because it goes from a leftist perspective into why liberalism is bad and why leftists shouldn't be seeking to be liberals, nor should they be bowing to the liberal agenda. They're going to ruin LOTR, and I'm never going to forgive them. Maybe. I mean, they've certainly been trying, but I don't foresee the estate letting them have that kind of access. I could be wrong, though. Troll the Purpose says they're being told they're on the left and believe it. Yeah, but that doesn't mean they're on the left. I mean, the Overton window might have moved, but the terms are still pretty static. And there's no leftists advocated by the liberal agenda. There's no leftism. And the whole, like, if you watch Jimmy Dore, for instance, you can see some of this anger because they for a long time were at that show were saying that Biden was a problem. He was a Republican. He had a bunch of racist policies. He was a warmonger. He pushed the police state. We shouldn't vote for this guy. We shouldn't support this guy. Everybody who's saying that we're going to push him left is a fucking moron. And it's just true. That's just true. So, I mean, that's the kind of leftism I can support, is where it actually gives enough of a shit to stick to principles. Now, I don't agree with Medicare for all. I don't agree with the UBI. I don't agree with this kind of, like, government provides the basics thing, not because I don't see where they're coming from, but because I don't want a government at all. Like, I'm coming at this from an anarchist perspective, and I think that the government trying to force egalitarianism or have some sort of, like, impact in this way is only going to make things worse. But, you know, I think that's an interesting conversation to be potentially had with Jimmy. I don't actually think he would turn that down. But the point is that, like, that's my mentality, right? Like, I want no government. I don't want Medicare for all. I want Medicare to stop existing along with the warfare state, along with the prison industrial complex, along with the intelligence industrial and medical industrial and school industrial complexes. I want all of this gone. That's what I want, personally. So that's what I'm pushing for. But I can still see where people like him are coming from, and I respect them for being able to say that Biden never was a leftist, and that leftists who support him are, like, stroking his cock for money and fame. Anger and dissonance. It's also scattered. Don't know what you mean by that. The old company towns where they paid most of children's college and gave them ins was a lot better than where things are going now. I sort of agree with that, except that it led to abuse because the company knew where you lived and knew that you relied on them, and also I think there was child labor. Like, so I'm not a big fan of that, but I can see where you're coming from, and I don't fully disagree. However, I would say that that should be an option. I think like there should be like honeycombs of different societies in different places so that people could just move to a different like potential lifestyle if it seemed attractive, if it seemed appealing. That's my particular thing. I want a pluralistic form of anarchy where like there are tons and tons of different stateless experiments being run so that one person isn't forced into the group of another, whether that group be the Ancapistan or the Ankami, well, whatever, Ancompton, whatever. I don't know what I would call that, but like the whole idea of anarchy should be freedom, and specifically freedoms to associate and choose. And I don't like the idea that when we're at anarchy, everything's going to be the same way. So, yeah, I'm pretty opposed to the end of one anarchist paradigm where there are business towns, company towns, but I wouldn't stop you as long as it's a voluntary arrangement. I wouldn't stop you from like either starting or living in one, because that would be anti-anarchist. So I mean, if you want to do that, if you want to live in one or start one, go for it. You know, if you want to go to Amazonville, feel free. Anger dissonance was door with other lefty talking heads. Yeah, well, and they're certainly not happy with him. They keep blocking him on Twitter and talking shit about him behind his back. You know, all the intercept drones who Glenn Greenwald, who was I think one of the founders of it, is calling them shit now. Um, so like it's fun to watch. It's sort of like when Rose McGowan started to talk about how the Democratic Party is a cult where you believe that everybody else is a terrible party, everybody else is wrong, and if you deviate from the script, you're an outsider and you must be, you know, whatever. It's an interesting thing to think about through that frame. Though I hope there's some way that she can be convinced that all politics are cults, because that's what's true. Statism is a cult, and if you're truly wanting to get away from cults, get away from statism. That's the truth. I followed Greenwald back on Salon before they went woke. Yeah, well, and you can still follow him, by the way. I don't know where he's writing specifically, but if I understand correctly, he's with the Gray Zone. But I know he's still putting stuff out, and I think he recently exposed some corruption in a government where he lives because he had to like flee the U.S. or something, and like this government then also went after him. So the whole thing is relatively. I'm getting on a really wild tangent here. The whole thing is really interesting, but like people like to shit on Glenn Greenwald now too. That's in fashion too, even though he's fucking actually a journalist. He's still in Brazil so far as like, yeah, it was Brazil. Yeah. Okay, so the comment here thing is, if I can click this, from 76063CO2. I'm pretty sure that's like a chemical compound, but I don't know. I'm curious enough right now. And this is a relatively informal stream anyway, so I might as well look this up. Nope, it's just his YouTube. I'm sure there's some meaning, but I don't know what it is. The part that made me laugh was, quote, I don't care what Dave Smith says, end quote. In other words, I can't evaluate the argument in an unbiased fashion. One pushback, I don't think Dave claims the cathedral to be leftist. I think his definition is in line with yours. It's in support of the elitist establishment, which doesn't know left or right. And I said, except Moldbug literally coined the term as one aimed at progressives and believed them to be the public face for a socialist agenda and called all this the cathedral. The guy who made the term does not share your assessment. He says, understood, I'm simply clarifying my understanding of how people like Dave and Michael Malice use it. And then I said, my contention is that they should find a different term that better describes what they're talking about without being linked to an ideology that they might not hold. And if they do hold it, then there's even more to discuss. If you look up what people mean by this politically, you'll get nothing but neo-reaction, which directly links to Moldbug's definition and the rest of his work. The rhetoric people use is important, and they should be as specific as possible. Although, hey, I'm going to thumbs up, and I feel bad right now for not having done that. Because those are reasonable comments, and I want to encourage reasonable comments. So, let me check the chat here real quick. Progressives aren't left, they're authoritarian. Exactly. Well, I mean, there is an authoritarian left. State socialism and communism through the years has been a threat to freedom and liberty and prosperity. And I'm not going to say that it's not, but what I will say is that you kind of have to be communist or socialist and not part of the capitalist machine to be part of that left. That's the reason China isn't actually leftist. They're just, like, if anything, they're fascist. They're right wing. Like, they're operating capital. Capital must serve the state. Minorities are quenched. The whole notion that China's a leftist state, where's the beef there? I don't see any left. Also, I went over the gas shortage and the fact that the gas shortage is based on centralization and statism and not actually real. And I went over like mineral rights and shit and what you need to do to set up your own oil, shit like that. Troll with a Purpose says, this is after Biden closed drilling new pipelines and so forth. Bottlenecks are intentional. Yeah, and I actually meant to bring that up during it. I feel bad for not having brought it up. I'm going to do this thing here. Because, like, I had the article queued up, and I had it all, like, the Biden administration and a bunch of other people have bottlenecked drilling and sort of slowed production anyway. And now suddenly there's this crisis and everybody's low already, and it's like, oh, now you can't do this. And like, I wouldn't be surprised if the ransom organization that was behind the attack is a government organization and they just wanted to shuffle some money somewhere. That would be my guess, but I'm just an evil conspiracy theorist. National security thing happens. White House. Yeah, they're a private company. Theirs to handle. I'm not sure how this sentence works, but CIA opt to push green agenda. Ordinarily, they'd be jumping... Oh, okay, so it's the fact that the comment is being displayed poorly. YouTube's backend sucks. To push green agenda, ordinarily, they'd be jumping up and down and shouting Russia. Yeah, well, yeah, all attacks during Trump had to be Russia, but this one... Not at all Russia. This couldn't have been Russia. Russian attacks don't happen during Biden. Anyway. Alright, looks like I'm caught up on comments. If there's anything that y'all would like to say... there's another comment from Twap. Troll with a Purpose. I thought that was clear. Woke was pushed to end OWS. MSG affects me bad, but seaweed don't. Their lab creations are the problem. I don't think it's the MSG that affects you bad. Have you ever just gotten MSG and tried it? I don't think it would affect you poorly. It's just monosodium on a glutamine molecule, I think. It's healthy shit. Like, it's fine as long as you don't like dump it. As long as you use it in moderation. Probably not like I do. I fucking I put so much of that shit on everything. But yeah, I mean, have you ever just tried MSG? Because I don't think MSG is gonna affect you poorly. I really think that it probably was just the food that you had it in, and it didn't sit well with you, so you thought it was the MSG. Unless I'm wrong, unless you have had pure MSG and then felt bad immediately, with nothing else in your stomach at the time. I believe firmly that the MSG wasn't it. You're free to correct me. I've had varied effects with things like accent. Yeah, but have you ever just had accent? That's my question. Because, I mean, it might have been the way it was prepared. Sometimes bad, others not. See, so, I mean, the constant was the accent. If it's only sometimes bad, then I think it's probably not the accent. Like, scientifically speaking, that's how you'd conduct the experiment. The accent was put in multiple things, and it only poorly affected you some of the time. Right? Let's go pew pew range time. I wouldn't mind that. Um, especially since it'd get me out of the fucking house for a bit. But yeah, I think that's about it. Concurrent viewers of 9, likes of 7. That's the best vlog stream yet. Mr. Knight, the Russian ruble is pretty bad, but Russia isn't that desperate. Yeah. It varied by bottle, not time. But I don't know. I don't know about that. It's still the same chemical. I'm not sure that the process changed. Linz Matero says it can be contaminated with other chemicals that cause the reaction. Every person has different sensitivities. Yeah, but that's true of everything. Like, you could get table salt that has other bullshit in it. Like, same brand candy Chicago makes me sick, Cincinnati not. See, so, okay, so it might have been just adulterated MSG, right? I have never had an MSG problem, not once, and I've used it for years now, and a lot of shit. I gave 2 thumbs up. Well, thank you for your service. I think it was the gas companies trying to spike an increase in profits. That would, yeah. But I mean, the gas companies are state corporations anyway. As far as I'm concerned, Big Petrol is the government. The petrodollar is the leader of the global hegemony. Like, the whole joint is corrupt. So that's my assessment anyway. Fucking trying to get my hair out of my face and making my nose itch. When you scratch your nose, it's supposed to be a tell that you're lying or something, but I swear it's just the fact that my hair dangles. I fucking sometimes itch my nose, scratch my nose because of it. Anyway, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if you're a little bit down bad on your corporate profits, you might fuck the economy. Hey, there's at least 0.5 degrees of separation. Maybe. I don't know. Some of these people are subsidized. And BP, for instance, has been directly subsidized to clean up the mess and to prevent lawsuits from damages. Exxon Mobil has a long history of that. People forget the Exxon Valdez, apparently. There's a shit ton of just government saying, hey, this oil company did something terrible. Let's make them not suffer for it. So, I don't know. I don't know how much separation there is. JH down bad for MSG. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's good shit. Okay, you know what? I will quell the misinformation. This is pure MSG. I have used this much of it in the past, 2.5 or 3 months. I'm still fine. I'm still doing okay. And I'm going to just eat some on stream right here for you. That's a fuck ton. That's enough to flavor an entire chili batch. There we go. And it still tastes alright, even though it's just pure MSG. So, if I break out into hives, if I suddenly collapse from a stroke, you can blame the high concentration of MSG that I just took. The MSG challenge. I wouldn't call that a challenge, and I wouldn't do MSG in a challenge because it's still sodium. It still could spike your blood pressure and fuck your heart. So I wouldn't do that, but it was the vax, right? Yeah. Well, I haven't actually been vaxxed. I have resisted that and masks as much as possible, even though it makes a bunch of people mad. Erica says, I've seen him do this a couple times and he's been fine. Yeah, basically. So either way, if anybody has anything they want to bring up that they want me to cover, feel free. I'm going to drink some water because I still don't want this on my teeth for a long period. C5H, NNA04 is MSG. Structure can be different though. Yeah, but I'm not sure this is different. I think accent is just MSG, and it's certainly what's recommended, and it tastes like MSG. Anyway, anybody have something else they wanna bring up? If not, I'm going to advertise. I will be on the I think it's called Why Libertarian podcast, and that will be the 18th. And while I'm on that podcast, I'll be going over Gray Man shit and a bunch of other stuff. Let me make sure about this though, because I can actually check. So the tag on Twitter is @LibertarianY, and they want folks to understand how Gray Man works, which is, for those of you who don't know, being invisible when the state is trying to track you, or any insert group. So let me find out what their show is on. I think they're on YouTube. Okay, I'm not actually. You know what? I'm not gonna push the YouTube. I think it'll be live, but I'm not gonna push the YouTube right now because I can support the library ecosystem by sharing a link, and I think I can also just it'll act as a ref link. Well, you know what? Whatever. Actually, if it is going to be live, I should support the live. I think it might be live. So I'll post my ref link in the comments here at the chat. So the YouTube is here. Feel free to sub. Don't know if it's a structure problem I have or recognized as a safe contaminant. I mean, it's the FDA says it's fine, and they're strict as shit in terms of like what you can put in food. So I have subscribed to Why Libertarian at this point, and I hope you guys do as well. And also here is my custom library link, because I can do that. And now that I have discovered this power, I am going to totally abuse it and probably make way too many of these links for my site, because it's a lot easier to remember my name than a bunch of random bullshit. So LBRY, there. So if you click that link to the library link, you will be given a chance to accept an invite, and it's blockchain-based video. It will free your content consumption. I recommend it highly, and you can earn money like cryptocurrency, their native library LBC token, for watching content. And if you watch content with a verified account, it'll pay the person that you're watching. I think they give out 10 view credits a day. So if you watched my vlogs on library instead of YouTube, I would get actual, support for it. So consider doing that. And of course, you'll be helping the censorship-resistant economy. But if there's nothing else in chat, then I will say my final piece here. So you guys have a little bit of time while I put more water in me. But I think this has been a relatively successful stream. I thought it was going to be short because there weren't many comments. Feel free to leave comments on my vlogs over the week, and I will try to address... That's perfect. I will try to address what you bring up. Anyway, with that being said, I think that's about it. Smash the state. Oh wait, actually, before we go, I forgot to bring up, this is brought to you by OPSEC Drip. Feel free to subscribe to that channel. They sponsored this entire thing for the entire month. And you can feel free to support me and support my supporters. Make sure that his money went to something good by just hitting that subscribe button and maybe giving some of his videos some views. Pilar Petri on Twitter, if y'all want to follow him there as well. That's what I should have said. or make your own state in backyard forges, whatever. Not sure what you mean by that. Anyway, I will see y'all next week.